Oh, sorry.
on page 141.
I didn't realise that was a report from. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. This is one that I think that the chair of the community committee wanted to reflect on first.
Yeah, so there should be I don't know if staff have got the recommendations from the community committee, but the problem was this report was put on the agenda before the community committee had actually met. All right.
Yeah, but it went to both. I think it went to the community board as well.
The community committee was of the mind that there's a number of requests for funding that are coming through, both from community boards, from annual plan submissions and from staff, and we felt it was really important that we try and work collectively as a council to identify, to inform the annual plan process, the budget that we want to put in place for the next 2 years around all of the community facilities. So we were of the mind that we should lie this on the table or refer it to the annual plan process, so that and actually the community committee, which in normal reporting circumstances would be reporting after the annual plan. So we thought it wasn't delaying it. We didn't realise that this was on the agenda. So I just think we need to defer this for two weeks and enable us to do some work as a council around how we want to fund community facilities, given that there is a difference between the staff recommendation and the board recommendation. And if we can try and find some common solution, I think that's much better use of our time.
Yep. Well, are the two councillors for the ward happy with that?
My preference would be to just do it now, just because I think the Bishopdale community has been, beaten for a long time, and they're really suffering. I respect what Yanni's saying, and I'll go with the wish of the council, but that would be my preference to do it now, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to defer it, but what I want to see is a proper discussion of all the community facility funding.
Yeah.
So we need to sit down in the next couple of weeks, and everyone needs to put forward their priorities for their wards, and we need to basically sort out the budget.
Yep.
Not particularly what that's going to go to, but actually set the budgets to the community boards so that they can then get on with the planning themselves.
Yeah.
I entirely agree. Can I just add one thing to that? Because I totally endorse what Raf's saying. We need to have a broad look at this, so there's a wee bit of strategy behind it. But the other thing too, which I just get a little bit frightened about, is that sometimes it's looked like we've got a yay or nay way to go, or very black and white. And I think what the community board was trying to get across is that we're wanting to ring fence that budget so there are options if required, but our preference would actually be to explore some wider things. Can we do a partnership with a community group there? Could we sell that land and perhaps do something a wee bit smarter? So I think we want to try and broaden it, because we want to save the council money and get a better outcome for the community. And I don't want to have to be tied into a black and white yay or nay way of thinking.
Yeah, no. All right, well, yeah.
I just want to say I support what Yanni's indicating. Like, unless we have a process across the board, if we would agree to this $4.5 million, it's clearly an example of first up, best dressed. And as a council, we clearly don't want to do that. So I certainly think that this must lie on the table.
Yeah. Yep.
Do we have any idea of the time that this is going to take? Because this centre is closed. And my second point is also the deputation this morning spoke about an economic negative impact on the commercial sector around there. And I was wondering if staff have any supporting data for that? Any feedback from the...
Can we, if we're going to have this lie on the table, can a written report be done on that, so that, I mean,
Yeah, okay, that's fine. But my first question is the time. How long is this process going to take?
2 weeks?
We've had an initial workshop on our strategy for fixing our community facilities. Now, and what's happened here is the community board has taken a different approach to what the staff have recommended around that wider strategic framework, which was we repair buildings up to 34%, and other buildings some buildings we don't fix for a longer time. But this is actually quite different. So I'm working with staff to get an idea of what facilities over the next 2 years we can do. Remember, the annual plan is a 3-year plan, and we've only got 2 years left. So we do need to try and just work out what can we actually do within that time frame. And this one has a temporary facility. There's others like Linwood that also have a temporary facility in terms of the library, and those leases will come to an end. So what I'm trying to do is get you a picture of what are the current services that we're providing, where are the gaps, and what's the current commitments. And so we can be informed when we make that call about how much money do we want to put on budget over what time frame to address these needs.
All right, so I'll just rule that it lie on the table until the consideration of the council of the 2014-2015 annual plan, which is like 2 weeks, so.
Point that I'm also recommending we do the same for the Sumner one, which is a considerable amount of funding. So it's not, there were a number of other projects that the community committee the staff had been requesting funding, and I'm saying that we do that for all of them so that we can look at that wider picture.
That's great, thank you. Now, did we do all of the Hagley Ferrymead Community Board ones?
No.
Just the one? Oh, gosh.
Thank you.
Sarah Templeton.